Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a interesting show, let's call it that, in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Also, if you guys are not a part of our Dreamers Pro membership, make sure you go ahead and join that. We have that pinned in the comments below. Let's get into today's topic. Okay, so I came across a video today, an article rather, from Basketball Network. And I thought that it was a recent story, but as I dug a little deeper, I saw that it was actually a resurfaced clip from a 2001, 2023 interview from Brandon Scoopby Robinson, where he was speaking to NBA legend and top 75 player Gary Payton. And I guess that they were talking about everything that it has to do with the NBA, and I'm sure the history of the NBA. And then it gets to a segment in the interview where I guess they get into this ridiculous LeBron James and Michael Jordan comparison. And the question I'm assuming was centered around who's a better player, right? Who's the better basketball player? So then Gary Payton then begins to respond and say that he believes that LeBron James is the better all-around player, right? And they're two different type of players, but overall, he's the better all-around NBA player. So what we want to do is we're going to play this audio for you. It's only about a 30 or 40-second clip thereabout. So we're going to play that audio for you, and then we're going to come back and really react and really get into what Gary Payton was talking about here. Take a listen to what Gary Payton had to say here.
No, two different basketball players. Jordan was a guy who he's going to make big shots. He's going to take the ball every time and shoot it every time he has to. I think LeBron is an all-around basketball player. If you ask me who's the better all-around basketball player, LeBron James by far. He does everything. You know what I'm saying? He passed the ball better than Jordan. He can dribble it, I think, a little bit better than Jordan. Shooting-wise, I don't think so. Rebounding, I think he did, but Jordan did rebound. But I think they're two different basketball players. And you can't just say it. Two different basketball players.
So you heard what Gary Payton had to say. What are my thoughts about this? You can look at this thing from a number of vantage points. You can look at it from a statistical vantage point, and you can look at it from a visual, from an optic standpoint, which basically means that we can kind of evaluate what he's saying through stats, or we can use our eyeballs to evaluate what we saw and then come to the conclusion. Because like Kenny Smith says, there are three types of lies. They're lies, damn lies, and stats. Okay. When people say LeBron is the better all-around player, they're obviously referring to his career average, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken here, LeBron's career numbers are so that's the playoffs. So he's a 27 point per game scorer. He averages 1.5 steals per game. He averages 7.4 assists per game. He averages 7.5 rebounds per game. He's a 73% free throw shooter, 34.8, let's say 35% three-point shooter, and a 50.6%, let's say 51, 50, whatever, 50% shooter from the field. So when you look at these numbers, you're like, well, man, these are fantastic numbers, and they are fantastic numbers. But does it really tell us who's the best all-around player? I'll give you guys another player here. Let me read off his career stats for you guys. Let's see if you guys can figure out who it is. He averaged 24 points per game, 1.7 steals, 6.3 assists, 10 rebounds a game, 88% free throw shooter, 37.6% three-point shooter, 49.5%, a 49.6% shooter from the field, and play 38 minutes a game. Whose numbers do you think that those numbers are? Those numbers are Larry Bird's numbers. If you look at Larry Bird's numbers in comparison to LeBron James's numbers, you could make a succinct argument that Larry Bird is a better all-around player just by the numbers. Could LeBron score the ball a little bit better? Absolutely. But there were years where Larry Bird averaged 30 points a game. Could LeBron steal the ball better than Larry Bird? Can Larry Bird steal more than LeBron? Yes, he can. Larry Bird averaged 1.7 steals per game. And, LeBron's career high in steals in a season is 2.2. Larry Bird is what? 2. So you have that. Larry Bird has had seasons where he averages 7.6 assists per game. LeBron had the 10 assists per game season. But Larry Bird has averaged 10 rebounds a game. And there are seasons where he averaged 11 rebounds a game. And him and LeBron play the same position. But where the all-around comes is when you now start looking at the other percentages, like free throw shooting. He's an 88.6% free throw shooter. He's a 37.6% three-point shooter. And he shoots roughly 50% from the field. And in many years, he shot over 52%. So if you look at the numbers across the board, you can also make an argument that Larry Bird is a better all-around player. But in the case of Larry Bird, LeBron being a better all-around player than Michael Jordan, I think the number he is alluding to are LeBron's assists and LeBron's rebounds. But there's something fundamental that we need to take into account here. LeBron James is 6'9". He has a 3-inch height advantage over MJ. For the small forward position, that's generally the height you need to be. You need to be around 6'7" to be 6'9". That's really like a small forward height. So LeBron has a height advantage that is cooked into the numbers when you look at his rebounds. And one could make an argument that he's not really a great rebounder given his size and given his position. If you look at MJ's rebounds for his career, MJ averages 6.2 rebounds as a guard, as a 2 guard. 6.2 with 5.3 assists. But there's more to it than just that. You got to look at the other things involved as well. Let's look at Jordan's all-around numbers. Jordan averages 30 points per game for his career. That's the highest in NBA history. He averages 2.3 steals per game. He averages 5.3 assists, but there's seasons when Jordan has averaged, here are these numbers. There's seasons when Jordan has averaged 32 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. So there's seasons where Jordan's put up Larry Bird type all-around numbers, LeBron type all-around numbers. He's averaged 6.2 rebounds. He's an 83% free throw shooter. LeBron shoots a higher three-point shooting percentage than Jordan overall, although Jordan has had seasons where he shot pretty well from the three-point line, like over 42%, 50%. And Jordan shoots 49% from the field, 0.7. So basically a 50% shooter, same as LeBron. But there's one aspect you're not taking into account: defense. Defense. There are two sides of the basketball. And if you account for the defensive side of the ball, where Jordan dominated, while dominating on the offensive side of the floor, Jordan is the best, in my opinion, and I think the opinion of many, the best two-way player to ever play basketball. So if Jordan is the best two-way player ever, he is a better all-around player. He is. Because those 2 assists that LeBron has over Jordan, how do we account for those 9 all-first defensive teams that had Defensive Player of the Year? How do we account for that? How do we account for that? Because the defense that Jordan played had a significant impact on the role of the success that his team has. It also speaks to Jordan's mentality to defend at a high level for so long. Even in LeBron's prime, he's made 6 all NBA defensive teams, 5 first, 1 second. So I understand it from a statistical standpoint, but people that evaluate the game by also looking at the game, there are people out there that could also make an argument that Michael Jordan is a better all-around basketball player. You can make that argument succinctly. You actually could. These are just my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.